My wife had an accident and lost her memory. Then she remembered everyone else, but uniquely forgot about me. The doctor said I was the root of her suffering. Fine then. So I'll just leave. That very night, I signed off the divorce agreement with Isabella White. Who would have thought? Right after getting the stamp at the Civil Affairs Bureau, she blocked my path, eyes red and teary, asking, "Ethan Gray, I've only lost my memory for half a day, and you've already got the divorce certificate all sorted for me. Isn't 18 positions a day enough to satisfy you? Ethan Gray, you're such a worthless piece of trash. If it weren't for my Isabella, you'd still be begging under a bridge right now, wouldn't you?" The spit from my mother-in-law, Lily Turner, nearly splattered straight onto my face. She clutched the crumpled diagnosis report in one hand, pointing right at my nose with the other, her shrill voice like it could shatter glass. "The doctor said it. Isabella lost her memory because she saw you. You're the source of her pain. You jinx." I leaned back against the cold hospital corridor wall, gazing at the figure in the room that was both familiar and strange. My wife, Isabella White. We'd been married for 3 years. Yesterday, there was a car accident. When she woke up, she remembered everyone clearly, even our sick cat at home. She even remembered the old lady selling bread downstairs. But she uniquely forgot about me. The doctor gave her a full checkup, and finally came to a ridiculous conclusion: selective amnesia. And the cause was probably me. This conclusion immediately ignited the rage my mother-in-law had suppressed for 3 years. "Look at you, not even looking human anymore. What makes you worthy of my Isabella anyway? She's the CEO of White Corporation, after all. And you? A lousy novelist, starving half the time. Back then, if Isabella hadn't been possessed, insisting on marrying you, she'd have been with the young master of the King family long ago. Now look, it's perfect. Heaven has eyes, making her forget trash like you." I said nothing, just listened in silence. I had heard these words countless times over the past 3 years. Back then, I was a broke web author with nothing to my name, while she was a rising star in the business world. Our marriage was cursed by everyone. Only I knew how much pressure she'd endured to be with me, and only I knew how hard I'd worked to be worthy of her. "Mom, stop talking." Isabella White's voice echoed weakly from the hospital room, but it still carried an undeniable authority. She wore the blue and white striped patient gown, her face pale, but the gaze in those beautiful eyes was full of wariness and distance, as if looking at a stranger invading her territory. "Sir, whatever our relationship was before, I don't remember it now. My mom might have gone too far. I apologize on her behalf, but please don't appear in front of me for now. I need time." She called me sir, and my heart clenched. The pain was suffocating in an instant. I stared at her, hoping to find even a trace of pretense on her face, but there was none, just pure coldness and unfamiliarity. Lily Turner, seeing her daughter speak up, grew even more smug, like a victorious fighting cock, chin lifted to the sky. "Heard that, you worthless trash? Isabella told you to scram. Get out of here and stay out of sight." I smirked, letting out a cold laugh. "Fine. Great. The source of suffering, huh? All right then. I'll scram." I stood up straight, without glancing at them again, turned and walked away. From behind came Lily Turner's biting sarcasm. "That's more like it. Be smart about it, and best not come back ever." I didn't look back, walked straight out of the hospital. The night wind was cold, blowing some clarity into me. I pulled out my phone and dialed a number. "Hello. Honey Victor, help me draft a divorce agreement as fast as possible. Ethan Gray, have you lost your mind? You and Miss White, just do as I say." I ground out each word, my voice not loud, but icy cold. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Meet at the Civil Affairs Bureau entrance. Hung up. I looked at the photo of me and Isabella White on my phone screen. In the picture, she smiled brightly like the sun. I muttered to myself, Isabella White, it's you who doesn't want me anymore. 9 o'clock, the next morning, at the Civil Affairs Bureau, and when I arrived, Attorney Victor was already waiting with his briefcase. He was the legal advisor for my cultural company. Always reliable. Ethan Gray, have you really thought this through? On Miss White's side, Attorney Victor's expression was complicated. He hesitated, thought it through. I took the folder, shoved it into my coat without looking. She'll come. As soon as I said it, a black Porsche pulled up sharply by the curb. The door opened. Lily Turner helped Isabella White out. Today, Isabella White wore a cream-white windbreaker, her long hair loose over her shoulders, though her face was still pale. That cool elegance made her stand out in the crowd. Her eyes swept over me without pausing, as if I were just a tree or a street lamp. That glance cut sharper than 1,000 knives. Oh, you actually showed up. Quick on the draw, huh? Lily Turner spoke with a mocking tone, the contempt in her eyes undisguised. What? Realized you have no hope left. So trying to squeeze some alimony while Isabella has amnesia. I ignored her, walked straight up to Isabella White. Did you bring the agreement? I asked. Isabella White frowned slightly, seeming a bit surprised by my directness. She pulled a similar folder from her bag, handed it to me. Sign it. Her voice held no warmth. We exchanged agreements, bowed our heads to sign. My pen glided over the paper, making rustling sounds. I'd written Ethan Gray countless times, but never felt it so heavy. Signed, I handed it back to her. The whole process, no extra words. Lily Turner watched from the side, thrilled, grinning ear to ear. That's the way. Should have divorced ages ago. Isabella, once divorced, Mom will introduce you to 100 young elites 1,000 times better than him. The young master of the King family has been waiting for you. Stepping into the Civil Affairs Bureau. Photos, stamps. When the staff handed us the 2 red divorce booklets, I could even feel the extreme excitement radiating from Lily Turner. She snatched the divorce booklet from Isabella White's hand, flipped it back and forth, admiring it, like gazing at a worldly treasure. Wonderful, wonderful. Isabella, you're finally free. I took that glaring red booklet, turned and left. Ethan Gray, Isabella White suddenly called out. My steps halted, but I didn't. What else? Our marital assets. She hesitated, seeming to choose her words carefully. My mom said you don't have much money. The house in the city center was bought by me before marriage. But for fairness, I can compensate you with some money. Maybe she thought I'd demand a huge sum. Lily Turner immediately glared at me warily, like an old wolf guarding food. How much do you want? I'm telling you, don't be greedy. Giving you 500 is already doing Isabella a favor. Finally, I couldn't hold back and laughed. The laugh echoed sharply in the quiet hall. I slowly turned to face them. Money? I stepped toward Isabella White, looking straight into her unfamiliar eyes. Miss White, have you forgotten? We signed a prenup when we married. I leave with nothing. With that, I casually tossed the divorce booklet into the nearby trash bin. From now on, we owe each other nothing. Done speaking, I didn't glance at her shocked face for another second. Head held high, I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, looking straight into her unfamiliar eyes. Miss White, have you forgotten? When we married, we signed a prenup, leaving with nothing. With that, I grabbed the divorce booklet in my hand, casually tossed it into the nearby trash bin. From now on, we owe each other nothing. Done speaking, I didn't look at her shocked face again. Head held high, I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. The sunlight was blinding, but I felt chilled to the bone. Isabella White, over these 3 years, it turns out, in your heart, I'm just a poor wretch, someone money can casually dismiss. I didn't go home. The home where Isabella White and I had lived for 3 years. Leaving with nothing. I meant what I said. I hailed a cab straight to Nightshade Bar. This was the turf of my old buddy, named Zachary Hale. When I arrived, the bar hadn't opened yet. Zachary Hale was lounging with his feet on the counter, counting cash. Seeing me, he froze. "Bro Gray, why do you look like you've lost your soul?" I said nothing, plopped down at the bar, grabbed a bottle of whiskey, tilted my head back and took a long swig. The spicy liquid burned my throat, scorching all the way to my stomach. "Divorced," I said. "Pfft." Zachary Hale spat out a mouthful of water. "What? Weren't you and your wife just fine yesterday?" "She lost her memory, forgot all about me." I gave a self-mocking laugh, took another swig. Zachary Hale was stunned. It took him a while to react. He slammed his hand on the bar. "Damn it! What kind of soap opera plot is this? Your novel plot's coming to life, huh?" He leaned in close, lowering his voice. "So your wife—" "No, Miss White, and her mother-in-law didn't give you a hard time. She called me a jinx, the source of suffering." I recounted with a blank face. Zachary Hale's face turned red with anger. "Damn it. That old hag has looked down on you since 3 years ago. And now, she's pushing it further. Bro Gray, you shouldn't hold back anymore. Reveal your identity, and scare the hell out of her." I shook my head. "Reveal my identity, huh? 3 years ago, I really was a broke nobody with nothing. But these 3 years, I'm not that anymore. My pen name is Derek Lowe, the top mystery novelist in the country. My novel rights adapted into blockbuster movies, TV shows famous nationwide. Under my name, I have my own cultural media company, invested in over a dozen emerging industries. Assets long exceeded $100 billion. Thanks. Isabella White didn't know. I never told her. I just wanted to stand by her as Ethan Gray, not as Derek Lowe. I wanted her to see a husband who purely loved her, not a monster wrapped in money and fame. I thought we didn't need those things between us. Now it seems I was wrong. Wrong beyond imagination. Forget it. No more talk. I waved him off. Tonight, book the whole place for me. Call some people over to liven it up. Zachary Hale's eyes lit up. All right, Bro Gray. Leave it to me. I'll set it up perfectly, so you can see what it means for a divorced man to be a hot commodity. He immediately grabbed his phone, started calling people. At 8 p.m., Nightshade Bar was lit up bright. Zachary Hale reserved the biggest VIP room for me, inside overflowing with beauties. Over a dozen hot-bodied stunners. Music blasting full volume. Shaking the ground. I sat in the middle of the sofa, arms around beauty's shoulders, downing drink after drink. The beauties around giggled coquettishly, attentively, feeding me fruit, offering drinks. Bro Gray, you're so handsome. Bro Gray, your girlfriend must be gorgeous, right? I smirked, raising my glass. I don't have a girlfriend. Just divorced. As soon as I said it, the beauty's eyes all lit up. Really? Awesome, Bro Gray. What do you think of me? The atmosphere heated up even more. I didn't refuse anyone. Played dice with them, drank, laughed uproariously. The alcohol numbed my nerves, letting me temporarily forget the heartache. Right as I was hugging a beauty, about to drink a crossed-arm toast with her, the VIP door suddenly slammed open with a bam, kicked wide by immense force. A cold, familiar voice, laced with uncontrollable rage, echoed through the room. Ethan Gray. I froze, slowly lifted my head. Isabella White stood towering at the door. Still in that cream-white windbreaker, she glared at me, eyes blazing. That look no longer distant and aloof like this morning, but the familiar one I knew, full of possessiveness and fury. Behind her, Zachary Hale waved frantically at me in panic, mouthing clearly, I couldn't stop her. Before I could react, Isabella White charged in 2 strides at a time, grabbed my wrist. With astonishing strength, she glanced at the beauty in my arms, then at the scattered bottles on the table, fuming so hard her chest heaved. She gritted her teeth, ground out each word. I've only lost my memory for half a day, and you've got the divorce all wrapped up. Isn't 18 positions a day enough to satisfy you? Isn't it? The whole VIP room fell into deadly silence, all eyes focused on me and Isabella White. The beauty in my arms paled in fear, quickly jumped off me, hid far away. In the entire room, only Isabella White's heavy breathing remained. My mind went blank. She'd regained her memory. Isabella, I started, my wrist aching from her grip. Shut up. Isabella White gave me no chance to speak. Her eyes red like an enraged lioness. Dragged me out. Come home with me. Her strength was terrifying. A guy over 6 feet like me couldn't resist at all under her hold. Roughly yanked off the sofa. Hey, sis-in-law, take it easy. Zachary Hale hurried after to intervene. Bro Gray just had a bit too much. He's in a bad mood. Don't be mad. Scram! Isabella White turned, shot him a bone-chilling glare. Zachary Hale shut up instantly. She dragged me through the bar lobby. Countless eyes turned our way. Curious, shocked, gossiping. My face burned hot. Caught by my wife in the midst of beauties. No idea where to hide my face. She hauled me all the way to the parking lot outside the bar. Shoved me into that black Porsche. Slam! The door shut hard. The car interior was cramped and stuffy. Isabella White sat in the driver's seat, but didn't start the engine right away. Her hands gripped the steering wheel tight, knuckles white from the force. She didn't look at me, just stared ahead, chest heaving violently. I could see tears glistening in her eyes. Silence, a deadly silence. After a long while, she finally spoke, voice hoarse. Ethan Gray, you're something really impressive. Divorced in the morning, partying in women's arms by night. You've been waiting for this day a long time, haven't you? Her voice full of grievance and anger. My own anger flared up. Yes, I've been waiting all right. Waiting to escape your white family. Waiting to never see your mom's smug face again. Waiting to never be pointed at and called worthless trash. I nearly shouted. The suppression of 3 years exploded in this moment. Isabella White, you lost your memory. You forgot me, the doctor said. I'm the root of your suffering. Your mom told me to scram. You yourself said don't appear before you. I scrammed. I fulfilled everyone's wishes. I made it happen for you all. What more do you want now? My words like a knife, stabbing straight into her heart. She trembled slightly, finally, turned to look at me, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'm sorry, she choked, voice soft and weak. I did lose my memory, but this afternoon I remembered everything. I saw you throw away the divorce certificate. I saw you walk away without looking back. I called you but your phone was off. I went home to find you, but you weren't there. She spoke through sobs. I thought you really didn't want me anymore. She cried, like a child, shoulders shaking. Looking at her, my anger vanished instantly, replaced by infinite pity. So this afternoon, she'd recovered her memory. So she'd been looking for me all along. I took a deep breath, reached out to hug her, but my hand stopped halfway. Could I still hug her? We were divorced. Ethan Gray. She lifted her tear-filled eyes to me. Us. Can we remarry tomorrow? Looking at her, my heart tangled. Remarry. Just like that, pretend nothing happened. I smirked, gave a bitter smile. Isabella White, don't you see we have issues that need resolving first? Like your high and mighty mother. Like what you really think of me in your heart. Isabella White was stunned. She didn't expect my refusal. What issues? She asked timidly. tears still wet on her lashes. I leaned back in the seat, looking at the flashing neon lights outside. Voice, calm without a ripple. Your mom, Lily Turner, this morning, at the Civil Affairs Bureau, said she'd introduce you to 100 guys, young elites 1,000 times better than me. She said the young master of the King family is still waiting for you. I spoke slowly, each word like a nail, hammered into the deadly atmosphere between us. Isabella White's face paled instantly. My mom. She just said it in anger. Don't take it to heart, she hurried to explain. Anger? I laughed. She's been saying this in anger for 3 years. Over 3 years. In her eyes, I'm just a useless leech on my wife. A freeloading dog of your White family. Today, when you lost your memory, she felt heaven was just, even more so. Couldn't wait to separate you from the source of suffering that is me. Isabella White, tell me, if you hadn't remembered today, what would you do? Would you listen to your mom and meet that King family young master? I turned, eyes sharp, staring at her. This question like a blade, piercing the darkest corner of her heart. Her lips moved, but no words came. Right, if she hadn't recovered her memory, a woman with an empty past, only hearing from her mom she'd married a useless guy, how would she choose? The answer was obvious. Her silence said it all. My heart sank. I get it. I withdrew my gaze. Opened the car door. Ethan Gray, where are you going? Isabella White, panicked, quickly grabbed my arm tight. Home, I said flatly, to my own place. Isn't this your home? We're divorced, Miss White. I deliberately emphasized Miss White. That house is your premarital property. I have no right to stay there anymore. With that, I firmly shook off her hand, stepped out of the car. Ethan Gray. She chased out after me, hugged me tight from behind. Don't go. I was wrong. Really wrong. Her face pressed against my back, hot tears soaking my shirt shoulder. I shouldn't have hesitated. I shouldn't have let you suffer so much grievance. I'm sorry, give me another chance, okay? Tomorrow I'll make it clear to my mom. I'll tell her that in this life, I only want you. No one can separate us anymore. Her cries full of despair and regret. I closed my eyes, rooted to the spot. I could feel her body trembling. This once proud and strong woman, now so fragile and weak before me. To say I wasn't heartbroken would be a lie. But 3 years of grievances and knots in my heart. How could one I'm sorry untie them? Isabella. In the end, I steeled myself. Freed her hands off. Let's both calm down first. You go back. Tomorrow, we'll talk. I didn't dare meet her eyes. Said it, and turned, hastily hailed a taxi. Left, like I was fleeing. Through the rearview mirror, I saw her standing alone there. Her shadow stretched long by the streetlight. My heart, like gripped by an invisible hand. I knew I was being cruel, but better short pain than long suffering. Some barriers, if not overcome, remarrying would just repeat the same mistakes. I returned to my penthouse in my name, a place I rarely visited, but always kept cleaned regularly, always tidy and neat. Standing before the huge floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the twinkling city lights below, but I felt no warmth of home. Showered and changed clothes. I entered the study and turned on the computer. On the screen was the novel I was writing midway. Follower count in 9 digits. Royalties. A staggering number. I looked at those figures, mocking myself. This is the starving artist in Lily Turner's mouth. This is the broke nobody Isabella White thought needed her 500 compensation to survive. Ironic, truly a ridiculous irony. I closed the management page, opened a secure folder. Inside was everything I'd achieved in 3 years. Under a secret identity. Company financial reports, investment projects, awards and certificates, and photos with big shots. I originally planned for our 3-year wedding anniversary with Isabella White. to give all this as a surprise gift to her, so she'd know her husband wasn't useless. I was fully worthy of her, that I could shelter her under the whole sky. But now, it all meant nothing anymore. I picked up my phone, hesitated long. Finally, sent to my assistant and CEO, Travis Lin, a message. 10 a.m. tomorrow, hold a high-level group meeting. Also, notify White Corporation's CEO, Isabella White. Invite her to attend without fail. Travis Lin replied quickly, yes, Mr. Gray. The meeting topic is. I looked at the night outside the window, eyes flashing with resolve. Topic, on Spirit Media. Strategic investment in White Corporation. As well as revealing my identity. Sent the message, I turned off the phone. Isabella White, didn't you want to know between us what the issue is? Tomorrow, I'll show you clearly. The biggest issue between us is what? It's trust. It's you never truly understanding your pillow partner. It's also my foolish self touching over 3 years. That night, I stayed up all night. The next morning, I changed into a custom elegant suit, hair neatly combed. The man in the mirror, with sharp eyes, strong presence. No longer the humble live-in son-in-law, cowering in the White family. This was the real. 9:50. I appeared on time in the top-floor conference room of Spirit Media. The entire senior leadership was seated neatly waiting. Seeing me enter, all stood up in unison, respectfully greeted. Hello, Mr. Gray. I nodded, went straight to the head seat, and sat. Sit down. My eyes swept the room, finally, stopping at the door. Time ticked, by second, by second. 9:59. The conference door was pushed open. Isabella White and her assistant appeared at the door. The moment she saw me at the head seat, her whole body froze in place. Her face showed extreme shock. Unbelievable. That expression like she'd seen the most unimaginable thing in the world. The assistant behind clearly didn't recognize me. Whispered in her ear. Miss White, Mr. Gray of Spirit Media is here. Isabella White's lips moved, but no sound came. She just stared at me, as if trying to see through who I really was. I met her gaze, mouth curving in a faint smile, but full of distance. Miss White, hello. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ethan Gray, pen name, Derek Lowe, founder and chairman of Spirit Media. Of course, I have another identity. I paused slightly, clearly uttered the last words. Your ex-husbandy. As my words ended, the conference room sank into dead silence. All Spirit leaders were stunned. They knew their boss was surnamed Gray, but had no idea. The boss was the renowned author Derek Lowe. Even less expected, the boss was the ex-husband of White Corporation's CEO. This info overload was too much. As for Isabella White, her face drained of color, pale as paper. She staggered, gripping the doorframe to steady herself. The assistant beside was dazed, looking back and forth between me and his boss, mouth agape, unable to close. Isabella White's lips trembled. She looked at me, eyes filled with pain and utter despair. Finally, she understood my words from yesterday. The issue between us was trust, because she'd never truly trusted me, nor ever intended to understand me. In her and her mom's perception, I was just a worthless guy relying on them to survive. But now, reality slapped her hard. The worthless guy in her eyes, in a blink, turned into a tycoon even mightier than her. Someone she had to look up to, even beg for partnership. How ironic. Impossible. This can't be, she murmured, seeming unable to accept this truth yet. I ignored her reaction, just lightly tapped my fingers on the table, drawing everyone's attention back. All right, everyone's here now. Meeting starts set. I looked at Travis Lin. Travis Lin got it and turned on the projector. Ladies and gentlemen, gathering everyone today, mainly to discuss the strategic investment plan of Spirit Media into White Corporation. Based on our market research, White Corporation's business has been poor the last 2 years. Capital supply chain strain. Many projects stall. Stock prices continuously dropping. Without external capital injection, within half a year, it'll face bankruptcy and asset liquidation risk. Travis Lin's voice clear and cold, each word like a heavy hammer, pounding straight into Isabella White's heart. She bit her lower lip hard, nails digging into her palms. Her company's dire situation, she knew better than anyone. This was why she came to Spirit today, hoping to secure life-saving investment. But she never dreamed. The one deciding her company's fate was the ex-husband she just cast aside. Our Spirit Media plans to inject $3 billion into White. As Travis Lin finished, Isabella White's eyes suddenly brightened. $3 billion now. Enough to revive White Corporation from the brink. But Travis Lin's next words plunged her into an ice cellar. However, we have one condition. Travis Lin looked at me. I nodded slightly. He continued, our condition is, Spirit will hold 51% shares of White Corporation and fully take over operational and management rights. Additionally, we require White's current chairman, Lily Turner, as well as CEO, Isabella White, to resign unconditionally from all positions and leave the board. This condition was like a heavy bomb. This wasn't investment. This was blatant acquisition and kicking her and her mom out of the game. You people, you're taking advantage of us. Isabella White's assistant finally couldn't hold back and shouted. Isabella White stopped him. She lifted her head, those once proud and noble eyes, now bloodshot and pleading. She looked at me. Voice hoarse. Ethan Gray, do you have to be this ruthless? Our 3 years of marriage. Not a shred left. Starting the emotional card, huh? I smirked. Marriage bond. I stood up, step by step, approached her, looking down from above. Miss White, when doing business, best not mix in feelings. Besides, our marriage bond ended the moment your mom pointed at my nose calling me worthless. The moment you coldly signed the divorce agreement. The reason I still agreed to meet you today isn't for old times' sake. I leaned close to her ear, in a voice only we could hear, coldly uttered. I just want you to see with your own eyes how blind you and your family really are. I just want you to taste what falling from the peak to the mud feels like. Didn't you say, I'm your source of suffering? Then I'll make you truly suffer. Isabella White trembled violently. She looked at me, eyes overflowing with regret and endless despair. She knew she'd pushed me away completely. The man who'd given her his whole heart, the man ready to shield her from storms, destroyed by her own hands. And now, he was here for revenge. No, I don't agree. Isabella White suddenly stepped back, voice shaking. White Corporation is my father's lifelong work. I can't just hand it over like that. Is that so? I raised an eyebrow, face showing no emotion. Miss White, seems you haven't grasped the current situation. You have no right to bargain with me. I turned back to the head seat and sat, legs crossed, posture lazy but dominating. Travis Lin, tell Miss White if she refuses. What's our next plan? Yes, Mr. Gray. Travis Lin clicked the remote. The projector screen changed, showing logos of several companies, competitors to White. If Miss White rejects our investment, Spirit will immediately activate Plan B. We'll partner sequentially with these 3 companies, from capital supply to media advertising, etc. Launch a full assault on White from all fronts. Our professional analysis team assessed that, in less than 3 months, White's stock price will drop below starting level, ultimately forced to declare bankruptcy. Travis Lin's voice steady, but the content cruel enough to suffocate. Isabella White's body swayed, face pale as ash. She knew Spirit had that power, the massive influence of the Derek Lowe brand. and Spirit. Spirit Media's dominance in the cultural industry today, crushing a teetering white corporation, was truly effortless. Either accept acquisition. She and her mom exit the game, but company preserved, or refuse, and watch her father's lifelong effort vanish in 3 months. This was an utterly cruel choice, and the one posing it was her most intimate lover, Ethan Gray. Do you have to force me like this? The light in her eyes faded, leaving only gray despair. I looked at her pained form, no ripple in my heart, even feeling a thrill of revenge. Forcing you, Isabella White. Ask your own heart, who is forcing whom? 3 years ago, I had nothing. You married me. Your family saw me as a disgrace. These 3 years I lived in your home like a dog. Your mom beat and cursed me. You saw it all. Did you ever speak up for me once? I wrote desperately. Sleepless nights, traded for a body of illnesses, to achieve what I have today. I originally wanted to surprise you with this, but you gave me what in return? A bout of amnesia. A phrase, source of suffering. A cold divorce agreement. You told me to scram. I scrammed. Now you want to use 3 years of feelings to bind me. Don't you find that ridiculous? My voice grew louder. Finally, almost a roar. All the grievances, rage, unwillingness pent up in my heart poured out in this moment. The whole conference room was dead silent, everyone shocked by my outburst. Isabella White stood dazed in place, tears silently falling. She couldn't refute, because every word I said was true. It was her family, that owed me so much. After a long while, she took a deep breath, as if using all her strength. Fine. She closed her eyes, tears streaming down. I agree, I'll resign. I'll also make my mom leave the board. Just begging you to spare White Corporation. In this moment, she shed all pride and dignity. Bowing before me, the lofty female CEO of White Corporation finally trampled under my foot. I looked at her lost and desolate form, but in my heart no satisfaction as imagined. Instead, a bit of emptiness. Is this really what I wanted? Pushing her to the brink, watching her suffer, watching her beg. I stood and went to her, gently wiped the tears from her face with a handkerchief. The gesture tender, but eyes cold. Miss White, pleased to cooperate. With that, I turned to all the senior leaders. Dismissed. Isabella White wandered out of the Spirit Media building in a daze. Sunlight shone on her side, but she felt no warmth at all. Chilled to the bone. Her assistant, following behind, didn't even dare breathe loudly. Everything today was too big a shock for them. The live-in son-in-law, useless in their eyes, turned out to be the tycoon behind a 100 billion media empire, and they, just moments ago, smug about compensating him 500. This was truly the joke of the century. Back at White Corporation, Isabella White burst straight into the chairman's office. Lily Turner was leisurely masking her face, sipping bird's nest soup. Seeing her daughter rush in pale face, she jumped in surprise. Isabella, what's wrong with you? Couldn't negotiate with Spirit Media. Isabella White didn't answer, but threw a stack of documents in front of her. Mom, sign it. Lily Turner picked up the documents. Just one look, and she shrieked. Share, transfer agreement, resign as chairman. Isabella White, have you gone mad? I'm not mad. Isabella White's voice unusually calm to the point of scary. Spirit Media agreed to invest, but the condition is we mother and daughter leave the company. What? Lily Turner, like a cat with tail, stepped on, jumped up. On what grounds? This is robbery. I won't sign, not even in death. It's not up to you anymore. Isabella White looked at her, eyes full of unprecedented coldness and disgust. Do you know who owns Spirit Media? Who? Who's so arrogant? Ethan Gray. Which Ethan Gray? Lily Turner didn't react at first. The very Ethan Gray you've called worthless for 3 years. The one you just kicked out of the house. Isabella White ground out each word. Lily Turner, like struck by lightning, body frozen. The bird's nest bowl in her hand. Crash. Shattered on the floor. No. Impossible. That worthless trash. How could he be? Right. How could he be that person? Isabella White laughed miserably. In your eyes. He's just a broke nobody, only fit to wash my underwear. Fit to sleep in a doghouse. Right. But that very broke nobody, now with a snap of his fingers, can turn White Corporation to ashes. Are you satisfied now? Finally, you succeeded in driving our whole family to ruin. Isabella White's voice full of desperate accusation. Lily Turner collapsed into the chair, face ashen. No matter how she thought, it didn't make sense. That weakling she beat and cursed, who never talked back. How could he? How could he be such a colossal figure? She recalled over 3 years. How she'd humiliated and tormented Ethan Gray. Recalled yesterday at the hospital. How she'd pointed at his nose. Called him a jinx. Recalled today at the Civil Affairs Bureau. How smugly she'd watched him leave empty-handed. Regret and fear flooded her like a tide. She was done for. The White family too. Before, absolute power. All her insults and schemes became utterly ridiculous and futile. Finally, she tremblingly raised her hand, signed her name on the resignation and share transfer agreement. At the same time, I was in the office, hearing Travis Lynn report, Mr. Gray, White side has completed procedures. Isabella White and Lily Turner both resigned. Our people are in. Starting takeover. I nodded, looking out the window. Mr. Gray, one more thing. Travis Lynn's expression odd. Mrs. Lily Turner. She's downstairs at the company. Says she wants to see you briefly, to apologize. Apologize. My mouth curved in a mocking smile. If she knew this, she shouldn't have done it in the first place. Tell her to wait, I said flatly. So how long should she wait? Wait until I feel like seeing her. I just want her standing downstairs. To taste being ignored by others. To know that some people once missed can never be reached again forever. Lily Turner downstairs at Spirit Media stood from noon till evening. She wore expensive clothes, exquisite makeup, but now looked utterly wretched. Passing staff pointed at her, whispering. From a lofty chairman's wife, she'd become a clown for others' amusement. But she didn't dare leave, knowing this was her only chance. Evening brought drizzling rain, cold drops splashing on her. Wind blowing made her shiver uncontrollably. Just as she could barely hold on, a black Rolls Royce slowly stopped before her. Window rolled down, revealing my cold profile. Get in, my icy voice sounded. Lily Turner, like granted amnesty, hurriedly opened the door and got in it. She was soaked, looking extremely pitiful. Mr. Gray. She looked at me, forcing a smile uglier than crying. Sorry, before I was blind. You're magnanimous. Don't hold it against someone like me. She started sniffling in repentance. I didn't look at her, just started the car. I don't need your apology. I interrupted her. I'm taking you somewhere. The car sped off, finally, stopped at a private club entrance. I led her into a private room. In the room, a middle-aged man in neat suit sat. Seeing me enter, he stood immediately, respectfully greeted. Mr. Gray. Then he looked at Lily Turner behind me, stunned briefly, then showed a knowing smile. Mr. King. I nodded, pointed at Lily Turner, casually introducing. This is the ex-wife of White Corporation's chairman, Mrs. Lily Turner. Then I said to Lily Turner, and this is the one you always wanted your daughter to marry into, chairman of the King Group, Mr. King. Both Lily Turner and Mr. King were stunned, especially Lily Turner. Her expressions changed rapidly. She thought the young Master King she mentioned was just a rich second gen. Didn't expect I'd directly invite the father here. Mr. Gray, this is Mr. King, a bit confused. I smirked, gestured to sit. Mr. King, don't be tense. Invited you today to discuss a deal. I took a file from my briefcase, pushed it before him. This is 30% shares of White Corporation. I plan to sell to you at 110 market price. Mr. King's pupils contracted. Breathing quickened. 110 price? This is practically giving away. He looked at me, then at dazed Lily Turner beside. In a flash, understood everything. This was Ethan Gray revenging the White family. He planned to toss the White assets to outsiders like trash. Mr. Gray, this gift is too big. Mr. King, polite in words, but hand already reaching eagerly for the file. On the table, I said calmly, to me, this thing isn't worth a penny. My words, like a knife, stabbing straight into Lily Turner's heart. She finally understood my intent. I not only seized her company, but used the most humiliating way. Sold it, cheap, to the family of the son-in-law she favored most. I wanted her to witness firsthand all she was proud of, trampled mercilessly by me. No, Ethan Gray, you can't do this. Lily Turner finally collapsed. She lunged to snatch the file. This is our White family's. You can't sell. My eyes flashed cold. Bodyguard beside immediately stepped up to restrain her. White family's thing. I sneered. Mrs. Turner, forgot? Now it's surnamed Gray. Who to sell to? How to sell is my freedom. I looked at Mr. King, smiled. Mr. King, sign. Once sign, you'll be the largest individual shareholder of White Corporation. Mr. King hesitated no more, grabbed the pen and signed his name swiftly. Lily Turner watched helplessly, letting out desperate wails. She knew it was all over, completely ended. The worthless, she once despised, used the cruelest, most vicious way to destroy everything of hers. After dealing with Lily Turner, my mood wasn't much better. The thrill of revenge faded to profound emptiness. I drove to the old apartment building of me and Isabella White. The room, pitch black. She wasn't home. Like possessed, I drove to the place of our first date, a riverside walking path. Sure enough, I saw that familiar figure. She sat alone, on a bench by the river, hugging her knees, her slender form like about to be blown away by wind. River wind tousled her long hair. But, she unaware, just stared blankly at the water. I parked far away. Didn't get out. Just silently observed her. Between us now, an uncrossable gap. Just then, a flashy red Ferrari stopped beside her. A man in gaudy floral shirt stepped out, holding a big bouquet of roses. Isabella, heard you divorced. Awesome. I've waited for this day forever. It was that young Master King, son of Mr. King. I frowned. What was he doing here? Isabella White looked up, saw him, eyes full of disgust. Victor King, we're not close. Please, stay away from me. Don't say that, Isabella. Victor King grinned lecherously, edging closer. Before you had a husband, I didn't want to bother. Now you're single, of course I pursue you. My dad said. Now, he's major shareholder of White Corporation. Our family's marrying is perfect match. He boasted smugly, totally ignoring Isabella White's increasingly cold face. Scram. Isabella White uttered one word. Ha! Don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. Victor King's face darkened. You think you're still the lofty Miss White. Now you're nothing. If not for my dad, your White Corporation would have bankrupted long ago. Me, taking you, is your 8 lifetimes of luck, he said while reaching to grab Isabella White's arm. Let me go. Isabella White struggled. I couldn't watch anymore. I pushed open the door and approached. Let her go. My voice, not loud, but carried undeniable authority. Victor King turned, saw me and paused. He recognized me. Isn't that the worthless ex-husband? Playing hero, saving beauty. He scoffed. Look at yourself. Who do you think you are? Isabella now with me is a pair. Is that so? I walked up to him, half a head taller, looking down. Hasn't your dad told you? Who controls White Corporation? Victor King blank. Who? Isn't it Spirit Media? Then do you know who owns Spirit Media? I smiled coldly, stepping closer, pressuring him. He, intimidated by my aura, backed up instinctively. How would I know? Let me tell you. I grabbed his collar, lifted him up. This company is surnamed Gray. I'm the boss. Victor King's eyes bulged like dead fish, face full of disbelief. Isabella White also stunned. She didn't expect me here. Now you see who's giving face to whom. I squeezed harder. Victor King instantly terrified. Mr. Gray, I was wrong. Blind to Mount Tai. I didn't know it was you. He flipped instantly. Started desperately begging. Scram. I released. He crumpled to the ground like mud. Scram out of my sight now. Also, tell your dad. The shares I sold him. Tomorrow I'll buy back at double price. Have him prepare the contract. Yes. Victor King, scared, scrambling up, dived into the Ferrari and floored it away. The world finally quiet again. I turned to Isabella White. She was looking at me, too. Eyes complex, like an untangleable mess. With surprise, gratitude, regret, and some emotion I couldn't fathom. We faced each other wordless. River wind blew, carrying a chill. After a long time she softly spoke, voice trembling. Thank you. I didn't reply. Just took off my suit jacket, draped it over her shoulders. Her body stiffened. This action once so familiar. Go home, I said. It's late, you'll catch cold. Said and turned to leave. But a cold hand clutched my hem. Ethan Gray. Her voice, with a bit of plea and humility. Us. Can we go back? I stopped. Didn't turn. Not possible anymore. I gently pried her hand off. Voice, calm to cruel. Isabella White. From the moment you signed the divorce, we had no way back. Her hand dropped limp. I could hear suppressed breaths behind. My heart stung like needles. But I didn't turn. Some wounds once cracked never heal. I drove away. Through rear view, saw her slowly kneel, bury face in knees, shoulders shaking violently. The suit jacket on her only warmth now. Back at the apartment, I stood by floor-to-ceiling window, drinking alone. Phone rang. Zachary Hale calling. Bro Gray, come out for drinks. Heard today you dominated. Made that old white hag and her daughter see stars. Epic bro. Not in the mood. Come on, come chat. I know you're not feeling great. I hesitated, then agreed. Indeed, needed someone to talk to. Still that nightshade bar. Zachary Hale poured me a drink. Bro Gray. Be honest with me. You to sis-in-law. No. To Miss White. Still have feelings, right? I silent. If not, why seeing her bullied? I couldn't hold back and acted. Why seeing her cry? My heart hurts like cut. I knew it. Zachary Hale sighed. Bro Gray. Actually, this matter. Can't fully blame Miss White. Think. She lost memory. Remembers nothing. Her mom blowing in her ear all day. What could she do? She's a victim too. She still signed. I said coldly. That's because she didn't know the truth. If she knew you're Derek Lowe, knew how powerful you are, even with 100 guts you wouldn't dare divorce. Zachary Hale's words like a hammer, smashed hard into my heart. Right, in the end. Still, because she didn't trust me. In her heart, I'm just a useless Ethan Gray. Bro Gray, Don't trap yourself in a dead end. Zachary Hale patted my shoulder. Women need coaxing. Now she's probably regretting to death. Just give her a step down. Guarantee she'll jump into your arms instantly. Step. I mocked myself with a laugh. I give her a step. Then who gives me one? My 3 years of grievances. Who to tell? All right, pretend I said nothing. Zachary Hale raised hands. Surrender. Drink. Just drink. We drank till midnight. I drunk out of my mind. Zachary Hale supported me back to apartment. When he tossed me on sofa to leave, suddenly, oh, bro Gray, someone at your door. I groggily opened eyes. Who? Seems Miss White. I jolted, instantly half sober. I staggered to door, peered through peephole, in the hallway outside. Isabella White, hugging knees, curled in corner, still wearing my suit jacket, hair messy, small face red from cold. She leaned on wall asleep. My heart trembled. How long had she waited here? Bro Gray, this. Zachary Hale saw too, face shocked. I deep breathed, and opened door. Hearing the door, Isabella White woke, looked up, seeing me, eyes immediately red. Ethan Gray. She tried to stand, but sat too long. Legs numb, so staggered falling. I instinctively rushed, hugged her tight into arms. Familiar scent hit my nose. Body and arms cold, but soft. She clung to my shirt, buried face in my chest, burst into sobs. I'm sorry, Ethan Gray, I was wrong. Don't abandon me. Her cries, heart-wrenching, shattered my heart too. What could I do? How could I refuse her more? I sighed, scooped her up horizontally into room behind. Zachary Hale knowingly closed door and left quietly. He texted me, Bro Gray, listen to your bro, enough already. Life has how many 3 years? Don't let misunderstanding ruin a lifetime. Looking at the woman in arms crying breathless, my heart a mess. Right, life has how many 3 years? I carried her to bedroom, gently placed on bed, but she clung tight, not letting go, as if fearing next second I'd vanish. Ethan Gray, please give me another chance. She lifted tearful eyes pleading at me. I looked down at her, at the face I'd loved for 3 years. Finally, I bent and kissed her lips. This kiss full of punishment and possession. Isabella White clumsily responded, tears flowing even fiercer. I knew our issues not fully resolved, but now I just wanted to follow my heart. Tonight was long me, also wild. We like venting all longing grievances, love and hate of 3 years in the most primal way. Next day, when I woke, Isabella White, still asleep in my arms, tear stains at her eyes, dew on long lashes. Like a startled fawn, I quietly gazed at her, heart full of emotions. I love her, no doubt, but Lily Turner like a thorn between us. As long as that thorn exists, we can never return to before. I gently withdrew arm, got off bed. I went to study, called Travis Lynn. Help check what Lily Turner doing lately. Yes, Mr. Gray. Less than half hour later, Travis Lynn called back. Mr. Gray, found out Lily Turner took all the money you gave her, invested fully in an overseas financial management project. Heard profit rate up to 300. Financial management project. I frowned. Instinct told me something off. Yes, the executing entity is a company called Golden Peak Capital. But we checked. This company has no registration info at all. Very likely a financial scam. I sneered. Nature, hard to change. Greed etched into her bones. I got a tea. I hung up, eyes flashing cold. If she jumps into fire pit herself, don't blame me for pushing from behind. I called another number. Hello, it's me. Help me with something. When Isabella White woke, I was sitting by bed watching her. Seeing me, her face flashed shy and uneasy. Did I? You did nothing wrong. I interrupted, held her hand. Isabella, let's talk. She nodded tensely. I know Mom made you suffer much. She lowered head, voice small. I'll handle her. Won't let her bother us anymore. How will you handle? I'll give her some money. Send her abroad. Never return after. I shook head. That's too easy on her. Isabella White stunned. I looked at her, seriously said, Isabella, some wrongdoers must pay. Not everything solved with money. What do you want to do? She asked, timidly. You'll know soon. I kept secret. Next few days. I didn't mention it again. Just stayed with Isabella White, like before. We cooked together, strolled together, curled on sofa watching movies. Like everything back to old times. Smiles on Isabella White's lips increased. But we both knew. That time bomb not diffused yet. A week later, while we dined, Isabella White's phone rang. Lily Turner calling. Isabella White glanced at me, hesitated whether to answer. Answer, I said. She put on speaker. Other end Lily Turner's panicked voice, wailing miserably. Isabella, save Mom. Mom got scammed. All Mom's money gone. They say they'll arrest Mom. To jail. Isabella, come, save Mom quick. Isabella White froze. Face paled instantly. Mom, don't panic. What happened? Tell slowly. The project I invested is scam. They took money and ran. I signed some contract too. Now police want to arrest me. Say I joined illegal fundraising. Isabella, Mom doesn't want jail. Quick, find Ethan Gray. Tell him save Mom. He's so capable. Surely has a way. Lily Turner, on other end, cried breathless. Words full of expectation in me. Truly ironic. Days ago, she saw me as enemy. Now, disaster hits. Remembers this capable son-in-law. Isabella White hung up. Looked at me flustered. Ethan Gray. Let her pay. I set down chopsticks. Wiped mouth. Face, without ripple. Isn't this what you wanted? Isabella White, stunned. Let her pay. I looked at her. Ground each word. This scam I arranged. Isabella White, like lightning struck. Pupils contracted sharply. She looked at me in disbelief. Lips trembling. What did you say? That so-called Golden Peak Capital. I had people set up this trap. Purpose to clean out your mom's pockets. Then use illegal fundraising charge. Send her to prison. I calmly recounted the cruel truth. You want her lose everything. Ruined reputation. Spend rest of life in dark cell. That's the price for hurting her. Isabella White backed up repeatedly, looking at me like stranger. Shock in her eyes turned to fear. Ethan Gray, how could you? How could you do this? Whatever wrong she did, she's still my mom. So what? I stood advancing on her. Just because she's your mom. The humiliations and beatings for 3 years can be erased. Just because she's your mom. When she nearly destroyed this marriage, I still repay evil with good. Still save her? Isabella White. Don't be such a saint. I'm not a saint, she cried, shook head. I just didn't expect you'd use such means. This is too scary. Scary. I laughed, full of sorrow, when your mom pointed at my nose calling worthless. Why didn't you find her scary? When I was forced to leave empty-handed, why didn't you find that scary? You yourself, you all turned me into this. I grabbed her shoulders, shook hard. Now, do you see me as vicious-hearted, like a demon? So, do you still want to be with a demon? I glared into her eyes, forcing her choice. She looked at me, eyes full of pain and conflict. One side the mother who bore and raised her. One side the husband she deeply loved, but now stranger. How to's? Her phone rang again. Police notification. Lily Turner in criminal detention. Last hope extinguished. Isabella White slowly knelt, let out desperate cry. I looked at her, heart surging with throbbing pain. I knew this cruel to her, but this thorn must be pulled, even if skin torn, flesh ripped, blood flowing. Otherwise, we forever no future. I didn't approach to comfort, just stood silently aside. I'd given her the choice. Now decision hers. Stay or go. Up to her. Isabella White cried long, cried till voice hoarse. I always by her, wordless. When she finally stopped and looked up, swollen eyes at me, in gaze no more conflict, only deadly calm. Ethan Gray, she stood, came before me. The wrongs my mom caused. She should be punished. I won't beg you, nor save her. Hearing that, my heart slightly relieved. But her next words sank my heart to abyss. But I can't watch her jailed and do nothing. So what? My heart hung. She removed necklace from neck. It was first gift I gave her. A plain silver chain, pendant, initials of our names. She always wore it, never removed. She placed necklace in my palm. A cold sensation transmitted. Let's stop here. She looked at me, gave a desolate smile. You're not wrong. I'm not wrong. The wrong is fate. Perhaps we really don't suit. You deserve better. A woman without family burden like me. Sorry, and thank you, said. She looked at me deeply last time. That gaze held too much. Reluctance and helplessness. Then, she turned, step by step, left this house. I reached to hold her, but, arm heavy as lead, could only watch her back disappear behind door, cold necklace in hand, cut into palm stinging. I thought removing that thorn, we could start over, but forgot thorn removal too painful. Painful, she'd rather let go. I lost everything. I slowly sat down, looked at empty room, no one. An unprecedented panic and loneliness completely engulfed me. A year later, in Paris, France, a grand international literature award ceremony was taking place. Ethan Gray, pen name Derek Lowe, with latest work, won the most prestigious award tonight, standing under stage lights, hand gripping trophy tight, facing world cameras. I said many acceptance words. I thanked many. Finally, I paused, eyes through crowd, as if seeing that familiar figure. Finally, I want to thank one person. She's the light of my life. Also, inspiration for all my creations. Though I carelessly lost her. Isabella, if you're watching, I want to tell you I'm always here waiting, said. I bowed deeply to cameras. Below stage, applause thundered. And before TV screen, in a flower shop in remote French town, a woman in apron, long tear streak, her hand clutched a silver necklace. Wind chimes in shop rang. A little girl with blonde hair, blue eyes ran in. Mom, outside a man. He says his name, Ethan Gray, here to take mom home. The woman trembled, suddenly, looked up, outside window. The man she'd missed day and night stood in sunlight, smiling at her. Still as when first met. The end.